have to have your colleagues, you have to have relationships, and your Southwest Mississippi delegation gets along very, very well, and we're doing all we can for Southwest Mississippi. So we're thankful for that. Secondly, I do want to thank the Creekmore family. I know many of y'all are here today, and this project would not work without y'all. Y'all have been involved. Y'all helped for the last several years, especially last year, with your help on getting sufficient funds. And so we thank y'all for what you're doing. We thank everybody that's on the Scenic Rivers Board that's committed to this project, to really making Southwest Mississippi a place where people want to go and work and live and raise their family. And y'all are a big part of this, so I want to thank you for that. And of course, Joseph Parker, his family and my family go way, way back many, many years in the city of Macomb. And so it's been great to work with him over the years, and he's doing a fabulous job as the director, but also his vision for this project as well. So again, we are thankful for y'all, and we're going to work hard for y'all this session. But as I mentioned, it's going to take a team approach, and I know many of my colleagues will support y'all's ask this year, but we will need the Creekmore family to help even more in the next few months to get this legislation passed. So with that, again, thank y'all.
Every single time, which is rare. If you deal with city government and county government like I've had in the last 27 years now, it's been something that's rare to see, a unanimous vote all the way through. But this project has carried that, and so very thankful to those folks as well at home for that. Today we're going to be mindful of your time and be semi-brief and thorough. We have a number of professionals with this project that have flown in, that are here today. We have some others that flights got canceled who could not make it because of the weather. But nevertheless, we're going to proceed with a huge overview and an announcement today of our branded operator that we'll get to in just a few minutes. It's really going to highlight today as well. So thank you again for coming, and now I'm going to ask the Mayor of Meadville, Mr. Lane Reed, to also.
I am Lane Reed. I happen to be the Mayor of Meadville. And again, it's so good to see all of you here, from the professional to our elected representatives, to our local leaders, and of course the Creekmore family. This project is over 60 years in the making. I know it doesn't seem like that, but literally in 1963-64, foresters came and said, our local foresters with the USDA Forest Service, hey, that Porter's Creek goes into a natural area, and it would be a great lake there. And so you fast forward, Representative Cochran, and I said Representative Cochran, was elected for the old 4th Congressional District. And he said, hey, why aren't we doing something? That's economic development. And most of you know in Southwest Mississippi, we don't have a huge number of people. We don't have a huge, right now, trained workforce. But we've got an outdoors area that is second to none. And so when we can turn around and have capital investment, have good jobs for our people, offer natural resources, that was the perfect vehicle for Scenic Rivers. And thanks to some forward-thinking counties and many of you in this room, the Scenic Rivers then took the ball up literally where Senator Cochran kind of left it off. Senator Cochran in 1998 got the lake built, working with the USDA Forest Service and our partners with the National Resource Conservation Service, primarily headquartered out of Arkansas. He got it built. We weren't able to get the development that then turned into jobs. We have a lot of people who like to come fish. We have a lot of people who like to come boat and kayak and take pictures of the bald eagle. But it's not that kind of tourism dollar that, again, provide high-paying jobs from technology that's now how you run a hotel. It's not staff for those who don't have college education to come and be able to work in jobs that they can be trained for with our quality workforce investment that we've got in Southwest and Colin. And so now taking that forward, this project is really taken off under the SRDA, the board, as Representative Mills mentioned, and those others that have, again, seen forward. Again, we come forward, the Creekmore family, and I hate Mr. Wade wasn't able to be here today, but thank you and Sidney and Beth for being here, because he said, not only for all the reasons I mentioned, he said, we've got this chess center. We're teaching kids to play chess and learn life lessons from a chess center that, by the way, I know most of you know, has been on 60 Minutes, another success story for Southwest Mississippi. We need to bring those folks to Meadville and have chess tournaments, and so where are they going to stay? And so again, there's just so many different levels of economic development for our part of the world with this project. It just literally blows your mind. So I think I've been short.
That
I've
was
been
perfect.
short enough.
That was perfect.
Such an exciting project. I'm almost at a loss for words because I've been working on this project with Scenic Rivers, with Mayor Reed and so forth for the last 5 years as we've been working on trying to secure what is the right brand to put in this location that is truly God's country. That this is just one of the most picturesque spots that you would want to put a resort hotel, that you would want to put something that is luxurious enough. So how do we go about finding what is the right brand? How do we market this hotel? And how do we get the right customer to come and visit Lake Okhissa? And with that, we have partnered with the Hyatt Corporation. And in their lifestyle and resort properties, the name of the property is going to be a Hyatt Destination Resort Hotel. So the Okhissa Lake Lodge by Hyatt Hotels, a Hyatt Destination Resort. And while we have vetted and gone through various operators as to try to determine who is ultimately going to be the optimal operator for this hotel, we ended up going right back and asking Hyatt to manage it for us. So it's the Hyatt brand, it is the Hyatt organization who is going to bring their expertise, their knowledge of the brand, and their knowledge of the markets to help drive the occupancy and the business and the success and the profit for this hotel. And so it's a very exciting project. As I said, I've been working with Joseph and team for 5 years. We look forward to getting a shovel in the ground and moving this project forward and welcoming guests. So thank you.
Corner of that community, it's a place I really fell in love with. I was very surprised by. But of course, this is the tallest, Joseph knows the back, the tallest
Mississippi, yep.
dam in Mississippi. It's 90-something feet tall, so the lake is incredibly deep, at least at its deepest point. Of course, as it gets up towards the edge, it's not so much. But you can see the result of the topography and just the outline of that lake. It's incredibly varied. I don't know the length of the shoreline, but it's extensive. And it creates an incredibly beautiful setting. Rolling hills, beautiful forest land. 40%, I think, of Franklin County is federal forest land. And so the setting is very compelling. And when we think about that, just from a visitor standpoint, I can't remember, Neil, you probably know the statistics and the projections of how many people are going to be coming here that are from out of state. I know there's a radius that we're kind of working off of.
This is 60%.
This is not just a resort for Mississippians. This is sort of our doorstep for some people. And so the idea of sort of like really, working off of our best assets has been the story here. And it really starts at how you approach the site. I mentioned backing up Highway 98, coming down, you cross over the Hunachota River. There's a little road that kind of runs right here called Marytown Road. And it's just right now it's just a little 2-lane kind of country road. But you come off of it, you're literally in the middle of the forest. And we felt like there was just a great opportunity to kind of spark people's imagination of that. And so you pull off Highway 98 on Berrytown Road, you hang a right into the gates, and you can't really appreciate it from this view. This is our site plan. This is the lake up here. You've got the lodge here right on the lake. These are 28 cabins that are sort of sprinkled through here. But I mentioned, and I showed you the imagery of that kind of satellite of just how varied the land is. And that approach road is really going to be, it's going to be a winding path through the woods. And so there's going to be this sort of sense of arrival that you get when you finally kind of come through the woods and you see that. And it's something that maybe you didn't quite expect, but it also at the same time feels very much at home in its place. We were very much sort of inspired by, of course, the pine forest. So you see these kind of, the architecture kind of begins to sort of play off of that pine tree shape. We are also sort of inspired by the great lodges of the national park system, which just, those are very kind of romantic places when you think about it in your mind. Places you really want to be at and linger in for quite some time. But this is what you see when we kind of come through that forest reveal, you enter into the grounds, and this is what you see. Kind of moving around the property, you begin to get a sense, this is one of the guest room wings, you see balconies and fireplaces. You use a lot of natural materials, stone and wood is very much a theme here. Again, we want to feel very grounded in this place. And then of course the lake setting. This is our single greatest asset here. Bill Dance designed lake, well stocked, wonderful fishing, and really capitalize on that. And so what we're seeing here is kind of the backside of the conferencing center. So conferencing center that has multiple conference rooms, can be used for workforce development training, can be used for chess center, or chess tournaments, of course, general conferencing as well. But all of that also opens up on the lake. Event space on the exterior for weddings and special events. And of course, a lot of outdoor water sports and recreation as well. Coming in, this is what you see when you first walk in. And we really envision this as being a showstopper. And so the idea here is that it is both warm and inviting, but also current. We didn't want this thing to be sort of looking backwards, we wanted to be looking forwards. But you come in and you're greeted by this incredible sculptural fireplace. It's the first thing you see. It's a place that people really gather around. We kept kind of coming back to this idea that the lobby was really going to be the living room of this space. We referenced many times, I think our team probably got tired of me saying it needs to be kind of like what Peabody does in Memphis. That it's really a living room. That people around here are social. We're not going to retreat off to our rooms and hide out there. We kind of want to be around and see and be seen. And so the check-in desk we see there kind of on the far end. And of course the views out to the right-hand side are out over the pool and the event lawn and then down to the lake. Moving around that fireplace, this is another big seating area. This is where you have eating cocktails. This is where the Christmas tree goes up during Christmas and becomes a great tradition in Franklin County. And then beyond it are smaller lounges and then eventually a restaurant kind of beyond that. This is another one of those lounges, so a little bit kind of quieter space. It's tucked off the main lobby. But again, the idea here very much a place where you have time with your friends, time with your family, but very much sort of a living room aesthetic and kind of a living room vibe. Mentioned the conferencing center, and this has been a really big piece of this. I mentioned the idea that this could have some workforce development training. I know that there's some conversations with Hyatt about even partnering with our community colleges in Southwest Mississippi for some of those type programs. So the kitchen, as an example, can be a teaching kitchen used by community colleges in hospitality training. But this is the pre-function space and opens up onto those, and of course the lake view beyond. And so the lake, being our primary asset, is something we come back to time and time again as you kind of move around through the resort. Big ballroom type spaces. This is set up for a chess tournament in this rendering. And then just kind of a flavor of the guest room. So this would be a kind of a typical corridor here. We have two types, sort of typical guest rooms, a king size room, and then and these are just a couple of views of that king room, and then also double queen. So fairly typical hotel setup. The rooms have balconies that on the lake side. Nice high-end restrooms. But also amenities. So we're kind of floating over the pool in this view, looking back towards the dock bar. So there will be a primary restaurant in the kind of the resort proper, the lodge proper, and then there will also be a full-service restaurant that's between the pool and the lake. So it'll be, you come up by boat, you come from the pool, But this sort of sits in the middle of that event space as well. Very large pool, lots of cabana options. Just another view of that, so you see how the dock and that kind of poolside restaurant interact. Also mentioned that there are about 28 or so cabins of varying sizes. And the ones that we're seeing here are 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom cabins. So there'll be kind of groupings of these, several by the water, several sort of in the woods, and several looking out over sort of a meadow type space. So these are envisioned as places that families could come, perhaps couples that want to be just slightly removed from the lodge itself. The lodge itself will have about 52 keys. With this additional 28, there will be about 180 keys in total for the whole resort. And that's it.